nous nous engageons à vous offrir le meilleur. Pour vous, nous ne cesserons jamais d'innover pour toujours mieux vous servir.
Les dirigeants de la planète se sont retrouvés pour donner un coup d'accélérateur à l'accord.
You made the right choice by choosing J24 to inform you. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to the main edition of the news in English. For now, let's take a look at the summary. Gabon and Togo are fully cooperating. A working and friendship visit took place this Thursday, December 2nd, 2021, between members of the Gabonese government and their Togolese counterparts in Togo. Also, in Gabon, it is with the aim of supporting the public authorities in the help and assistance of health structures that the Adira Foundation proceeded this Wednesday, December 1st, 2021, to the handing over of the keys of the playroom of the University Hospital of Libreville. Stay tuned for the details. I'll be back in a fist of seconds. Once more, welcome back. In opening, as a prelude to the working and friendship visit made this Thursday, December 2nd, 2021, the Prime Minister, Rose Christiane Oussoukara-Ponda in Lomé, had a preparatory working visit which took place yesterday between members of the Gabonese government and their Togolese counterpart. Let's take a look at the story. These meetings enabled the two delegations to review the points that will be discussed during the interministerial session in the presence of the heads of state and government. It is an essential continuation of the discussions started during the recent official visit of the Prime Minister of the Togolese Republic to Gabon last October 2021. In addition, the series of discussions between members of the two governments ended with a visit to the Adetikope Industrial Platform, in short PIA, strongly inspired by the Gabonese model in this area, in particularly the Coq Economic Zone with privileged regime. As a reminder, Gabon and Togo intend to take advantage of this new dynamic of sharing experiences to accelerate the development of their respective economies and face the common challenges of the moment and ahead. Also, on November 30th, Franceville hosted a mission to popularize the new laws adopted to combat violence against women. On these occasions, magistrates, civil status agents, and judicial police officers, the OPG of the city, were introduced to the new legislation. The details are given to us by Thibaut Otungu-Tabaga.
Launched on November 19th, the mission to popularize the new laws adopted to combat violence against women and promote gender equality continues its tour of the interior of the country. In Franceville, magistrates, registrars, and judicial police officers were introduced to the new legal system on 30th November to the great satisfaction of the governor of the province of Otogowe. It is an important mission. The government has promulgated important laws for our country related to the current issues such as violence against women. It is extremely important and we must work to popularize them so that citizens appropriate them, said Jacques Denit, Tsanga. Especially it is about the laws promulgated last September 6th by President Ali Bongo Ondimba, namely the law number 004/2021 of September 15th, amending some provisions of the law number 15/72 of July 29th on the Civil Code. The law number 005/2021 of September 6th, 2021, amending some provisions of the law number 006/2020 of June 30th, 2020 on the Criminal Code of the Gabonese Republic, and the law number 006/2020 of September 6th, 2021 on the elimination of violence against women.
It is with the aim of supporting the public authorities in the help and assistance of health structures that, as announced in the headlines, the Adira Foundation proceeded this Wednesday, December 1st, 2021, to the handing over of the case of the playroom of the University Hospital of Libreville. It aims to bring a little joy to hospitalized children by offering them a modern and friendly environment for relaxation. Once more, we listen to Thibaut Otungu Tagabaga, who recounts.
In a context marked by an unprecedented global health and economic crisis, some civil society actors are striving to propose ways out by helping the most destitute. This is notably the case of the Adira Foundation, which aims to be the benevolent hand for compatriots hospitalized in hospitals, notably at the University Hospital of Libreville. For its president, Steve Ray, this gesture is in line with the social purpose of the Adira Foundation and the values it holds. The University Hospital of Libreville was the one with the most needs and the least comfort after visiting several hospital structures. This room is meant to be a place of relaxation for hospitalized children. If for a moment, for a few minutes, the interns can forget their condition, for the Adira Foundation it will be a victory, he said. This gesture was welcomed by Dr. Fifi Claire Lomé, a pediatrician at the Hospital Center of Libreville. We can only express a feeling of satisfaction and enjoy, because for us who are closer to children, we know how beneficial this kind of place can be for a sick child and medicine. The psychological side represents about 30% of the therapy, she said. The Adira Playroom at the University Hospital of Libreville is a recreational place where books, toys, and various games are made available to hospitalized children. This action will be extended to the 8 other regional hospitals of Gabon.
We stay in Gabon, this time new traveling laws between Gabon and France. In brief and images, the vaccination pass will not be enough to go to France anymore. Faced with the threat of the Omicron variant, the country announced this December 1st a tightening of the conditions of access to its territory. In particular, they impose a negative PCR test or less than 48 hours for all travelers, even vaccinated, coming from a country outside of the European Union. For those coming from the EU country, only unvaccinated people will need to take a 24-hour test. The measure will come into effect from Saturday, December 4th. In addition, France has 13 suspected cases of the Omicron variant on its territory. We move on in this news edition. Furthermore, more of education this time. As part of the strengthening of its linguistic cooperation, the Central African authorities have decided to make the learning of Russian mandatory in its universities. We have the details with Jean-Cyril Ondomungu.
Next year, the teaching of the Russian language will be mandatory in Central Africa universities, replacing Spanish. This is an initiative taken on Friday by President Faustin Archange Touadéra, while it is already taught at the secondary level in the country from 2019. Russian will now be taught from the first year of undergraduate to the second year of postgraduate. The preparatory phase of this innovation is to be completed in principle by the end of the academic year 2022-2023. It is therefore a form of cooperation between the two countries Baguio already relies on Moscow in its battle with armed groups. Russian paramilitaries from Wagner are in the bedsides of the FACA, the Central African Armed Forces, even though Moscow has always denied their presence, acknowledging that it has only sent military personnel to help train Central African soldiers. On Tuesday, the European Union threatened to end its training mission for the Central African Armed Forces because of the country's ties to Russian paramilitaries. A battalion of EU-trained soldiers is now under Wagner's control, according to a report submitted to EU member states.
Also visiting Chinese State Chancellor and Foreign Minister Wang Yi met with Ethiopian Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Demeke Mekonnen in Addis Ababa on Wednesday to discuss relations between the two countries and the current situation in Ethiopia. The details are given by Futibi Muleka.
Demeke Mekonnen, the Ethiopian Deputy Prime Minister, and Wang Yi, the Chinese Foreign Minister, met after the 8th Ministerial Conference of the Forum on China-Africa Cooperation. The Chinese official said that China and Ethiopia enjoy traditional friendship and the two sides have become comprehensive strategic cooperative partners. Bilateral relations have stood the test of changing international circumstances and have not been affected by external factors or domestic changes, he added, noting that China pursues the principle of non-interference in the internal affairs of other countries. Wang said that China does not interfere in Ethiopia's internal affairs and opposes any meddling by external forces, let alone they attempt to exert pressure on Ethiopia to achieve their own political purpose.
Essential what is happening inside Ethiopia belongs to the country's internal affairs. We are confident that Ethiopia has the ability and wisdom to find the solution to stabilize the situation and address this issue through dialogue and negotiation and by legal and political means.
These talks are the only way out and the only correct choice, he noted. As a good friend, Wang said China is ready to play a constructive role in this regard on the premise of respecting Ethiopia's sovereignty and in keeping with its needs. For his part, Demeke Mekonnen said that Ethiopia attaches great importance to the traditional friendship between the two countries and appreciates China's firm adherence to the principle of non-interference in the internal affairs of other countries. To end with, the two sides also exchanged views on China-Africa cooperation.
Last but not the least, the World Logistics Passport has decided to make Dakar its main hub in West Africa, which will thus be able to benefit from commercial advantages, particularly towards Latin America, which represents less than 1% of its exports. We listen to Thibaut Otungu Tabaga, who has more about this for us.
The official implementation of this initiative, whose objective is to strengthen trade and logistics in Senegal, took place this Wednesday in the Senegalese capital. Senegalese companies can now rely on the global expertise of the 25 hubs that the WLP has around the world to develop. A public-private initiative, the WLP is built on three essential pillars. First, there is the improvement of the governance of key players in trade and logistics. The objective is to enable the port, airport, customs, and free trade zones to work more smoothly and efficiently. The second pillar focuses on investment. The World Logistics Passport has a fund of over $1 billion co-financed by the United Arab Emirates. Senegal will benefit from this to improve the digitization of the port, airport and customs. The third and final pillar concerns loyalty benefits offered to companies in exchange for an annual growth rate of 5% at the Senegalese hub. These privileges include priority access to landing at the airport, priority inspection at customs, additional days of storage for companies, and expected service between the port and airport for cargo distribution.
This information marks the end of this newscast, but stay seated while we review the main headlines. Gabon and Togo are fully cooperating. A working and friendship visit took place this Thursday, December 2nd, 2021 between members of the Gabonese government and their Togolese counterparts in Togo. Also in Gabon, it is with the aim of supporting the public authorities in the help and assistance of health structures that the Adira Foundation proceeded this Wednesday, December 1st, 2021 to the handing over of the keys of the playroom of the University Hospital of Libreville. Ladies and gentlemen, we thank you for staying faithful to our newscast. Information continues on G24 and our social medias. Subscribe, share, and stay tuned for more programs. Next rendezvous of information in English at 10:30 p.m. local time. Meanwhile, stay seated while at 8 p.m., Gael Mapesi, the legend, informs you in French. It is equally the occasion to thank our news director, Warren Bibaya. Till we meet again, take care of yourselves and goodbye.
Les dirigeants de la planète se sont retrouvés pour donner un coup d'accélérateur à l'accord de Paris qui, depuis 6 ans, peine à être appliqué en raison de son caractère non contraignant pour certains, mais surtout du fait que les plus grands pollueurs ne veulent pas fournir d'efforts pour éviter